Good morning. Another day, another porch chat. It is 7 a.m. and I've already been doing some work in the kitchen, but I wanted to get out and get some more morning sunlight. So I'm sitting here with my morning smoothie. This one is about 8 ounces of coconut water, about 8 ounces of frozen peaches from Trader Joe's, 1 banana, and about a tablespoon of molasses in here. I have been drinking this smoothie every morning for I think a week now. And well, not exactly the same because I change out the fruit a little bit, but it's usually the coconut water, banana, and then some kind of a frozen fruit and a little bit of molasses or honey on top. So that's my breakfast smoothie this morning. So I'm going to sip on this and let's chat. I have a couple of questions from my last What I Eat in a Day video that I thought I'd just chat about with you real quick here, and then we will get into the day. We went cherry picking yesterday, and it was so incredibly amazing. Well, first of all, the weather was perfect. It was like the perfect temperature. It was beautiful. The trees were just dripping with cherries, and we picked a few different kinds, but the last ones that we picked, I think they were called Lapin. They were so big and so dark red, and it's just like we could have picked 1,000 pounds in a day. Like literally we could have picked 1,000 pounds in a day. We picked 86 pounds, and we were going slow, like we were lazily picking, and we picked 86 pounds in maybe an hour. It was insane. It was just like by the handful. Oh, it was beautiful. Anyways, so I have a ton of cherries to work through, and so I'm going to be doing some prep on that. I don't know how much I'll get through today, but I'll put in the video as much as I can. I'm going to try to dry some in my dehydrator. I have a cherry pitter, and so we'll do a bunch of cherry pitting and then throw them in the dehydrator. I think I'm going to do that with the Bing cherries because they were a little bit smaller, and I think they'll dry pretty fast. Let's see, we got Rainier cherries, which are yellow. And those ones I think we're just going to eat fresh because that's apparently what they're the best for. And then the Lapin cherries, they're good for eating fresh or for, cooking, doing stuff with. And so I think I'm going to try canning some of those. I was looking for some different recipes, and I'm gonna play with it and see what works out for canning, like cherry pie filling or just like preserves, or we'll see. Okay, on my last What I Eat in a Day video, got a couple questions, and one of them is from Gut Goddess 75, and she says, when you say you were spreading your macros through the day, does that include protein or just starch? So like I talked about, I did back in May my sugar diet experiment where I was doing fruit and honey throughout the day until about 3 p.m. Then I was having my meal of starch and protein. After that experiment ended, I did like 5 or 6 weeks of keeping similar macros, like a high carb, low fat type macro breakdown, but not having the fruit and honey fast in the morning. So I did spread my protein throughout the day, my fat throughout the day, and starch throughout the day. So there was a morning I had buckwheat cereal, and like at lunch I would have rice and beans, or and other things, of course. But I'm saying I spread the starch throughout the day, and I did spread the protein throughout the day. Although I did still tend to eat my animal protein meal in the evening. It just kind of worked out with cooking for the family and stuff. That's when I cook my animal protein. It's a lot easier just to eat the fruit and the starch and the higher protein starches like beans and things like that during the day. So during those 5 to 6 weeks, I spread everything out throughout the day, but I still ended up having my animal protein mostly in the evening. And for whatever reason, it didn't give me as good of benefits as doing the fruit and honey fasting through the morning. I don't know, and it's not all about weight loss, because my weight now with doing the fruit and honey fasting, it's not like falling off like it was the first time, which I totally expected, but I have seen my sleep time HRV go right back up. My resting heart rate kind of dropped down a little bit, and they're all like good signs. My sleep has, improved again. And so I'm like, I think I need to keep going with this. I'm keeping my eye open for like red flags of too much cortisol or, any kind of a stress hormone response. But for now, like I'm just seeing so many positive metrics from doing this that I feel like I just need to keep playing with it and see how it goes. And I love it. That is the thing. I feel so good. My appetite is totally under control. Food noise is just non-existent. I love the food that I'm eating. That's the other thing is, a lot of times in the low carb world, and I did this myself in the low carb world, talking about, oh, you get to eat bacon every day and steak, and I don't even care about, rice or, potatoes. That was always a vehicle for, all these other fatty foods or low carb foods. And, I tried to convince myself of that. And to a degree it was true, but I love starch. I love fruit. I don't need a ton of fat to be able to enjoy my food. Now, if I don't enjoy eating like PSMF, low carb, low fat style, that's not enjoyable. But when I'm able to have an abundance of carbs and, some animal protein, I don't need a ton of fat for that to be enjoyable. It is very enjoyable the way it is, especially if you know how to spice things well. So anyways, that was kind of a tangent there, but I am absolutely loving the way I'm eating, feeling amazing. I still get kind of floored at how amazing I'm feeling. Like I have motivation and like a zest for life that I, would get it here and there over the last few years, but not like this, like not consistently. I'm excited about doing things, like going cherry picking yesterday. Like I was looking forward to it. Whereas before it would be like, even though I knew it would be fun, it would be kind of like, I knew it was stressful or like my body was anticipating it as stressful. It's kind of hard to explain, but I just enjoyed it so much. And then now having all these cherries here, that would have been a huge stress before. Like, oh, I have to deal with all of these. This is going to be so much work. I don't want to do it. And, like pushing it off and procrastinating, but I don't feel that way. Like with the being fueled with carbohydrates, I feel motivated to do stuff. Which is a really nice place to be after living a lot of years with low motivation and like all the iron deficiency symptoms that I dealt with, which includes low motivation and just not being able to get yourself going. It's amazing. It's amazing. Okay, next question was from Andy Bun 7578, and that is just, are you eating dairy? So I am eating dairy, and that's the interesting thing about this plan that I'm on, this whatever it is. Nothing is off limits, basically. The only things that I personally choose to either severely limit or not eat at all are seed oils and conventional wheat. Those two things haven't been a big part of my diet for a lot of years, and I don't really have a lot of interest in bringing them back. I do have einkorn wheat occasionally, and that is an ancient grain that I digest a whole lot better and feel good eating. And so I'll have that occasionally. But as far as the conventional wheat and then the seed oils, I just, as little as possible to none is ideal for me. But besides that, I basically can fit in anything I want in the right amounts. So like I had a ribeye steak the other day. I cut off the biggest chunks of fat and had about like 6 ounces, and it worked in my fat allotment in my protein meal, and so it totally fit. So as far as dairy, I can have it, and I do have it occasionally, but a lot of it doesn't fit because most of it is high fat and also high protein. So I could have the higher protein stuff in my protein meal in the afternoon or evening. Although I do tend to want something more savory in the evening since I've been having sweet fruit all morning. So I don't tend to have like the sweet yogurts and things like that. That would be higher protein. But like the other day I was out and it was afternoon, evening time, and I needed a quick protein meal. And so I went to the store and got some cottage cheese, like 2% cottage cheese, and I ate like a cup and a half of that. And so it's like 39 grams of protein and 12 grams of fat or something like that, or 9 grams of fat, whatever it was. And that totally worked with my macros, but it doesn't work with my macros to dump cheese on everything or to snack on cheese, especially in the morning when I'm doing fruit and honey fasting, fruit and molasses fasting. Really, I haven't been doing as much honey since I added the molasses to my smoothie. The other day I had a salad, the same kind of salad that I showed you guys in my last What I Eat in a Day video, or very similar as far as the veggies, but I added some strawberries and I added some feta cheese, and that was delicious. So I'm having a little bit of dairy here and there, but it doesn't make up a big part of my diet. The other dairy that I do have is the half and half in my coffee. I'll have like a tablespoon or two in my coffee during the day. And then also sometimes I'll just do the whole milk in my coffee. So that's the dairy in my diet right now. That's enough talk for now. I will bring you along on whatever cherry prep that I end up doing, and just my meals throughout the day. I'm getting in my morning red light therapy, and I wanted to mention what I was talking about earlier with my motivation and just feeling so good. The first step to that this year that really got me set on the right path is the red light therapy. I've talked tons and tons about that, about how it made my brain work again. And I started getting that motivation back when I started using red light therapy. And then I feel like the increase in carbs and possibly also the decrease in fat and a slight decrease in protein in my diet has just intensified those effects. I really think that the red light therapy plus fueling my body with carbohydrates and giving my cells the fuel that they need, red light therapy seems to increase energy at the cellular level, and then fueling my body and giving my cells the fuel that they want. It just seems like it works hand in hand. So I'm not going to say, only the carbs is all that I needed, or only the red light therapy is all that I needed. All these things work in synergy. And I think the carbs plus the red light therapy are like a match made in heaven. And then of course we can't forget all of the things that I've done before all of this, like healing my gut and things like that. So it's always, health and wellness is always a puzzle, but two huge pieces for me at this point are the red light therapy and the carbs. It is coffee time. I am still using my Chef Robot coffee maker that I reviewed a while back. I do really like it. I'm getting pretty spoiled with not having to grind my own coffee or anything. Just adding a little sprinkle of Redmond real salt. And I'm doing about an ounce of milk. I'm sitting down doing video editing and was hungry, so I'm doing a medium-sized peach and a whole pile of Rainier cherries. It's lunchtime and I'm still fruit fasting, so I am gonna have a banana and 5 figs, and then this is 10 ounces of apple juice, organic apple juice, not from concentrate. It is time for early dinner, late lunch, whatever you want to call it. I typically eat about 5 times a day right now, so meal number 4. Giant salad. I showed my salad prep on my last What I Eat in a Day video, and I'm still using that stuff up. I made this salad dressing the other day. And it was really good, so I did it again. I did 2 tablespoons of my homemade strawberry jam, 1 tablespoon of balsamic vinegar, and I don't know, maybe 2 teaspoons of everything but the bagel seasoning. That is very, very good. And actually, the last time I had it, I put in some MCT oil also because I wanted to add a little bit of fat to the salad. This time I did 2 ounces of feta cheese, and that added some fat to the salad and some protein. So I have feta cheese in there. I also have cherries in there, fresh cherries, onions, parsley, radishes, carrots, cabbage, Napa cabbage, kale, what else? Oh, cucumbers and peppers. I think that might be it. And then over here I have about 8 ounces of little potatoes. They were already cooked in the fridge. I sliced them in half and air fried them. And I had just sprinkled them with some ranch seasoning from Pork King Good. And then I have some barbecue sauce to dip. I didn't quite finish my salad because it was very large. I've got to start making my salads a little bit smaller, but it's hard because there's so many things I'm adding in. I'm just like, oh, a little of this and a little of this, and by the time I'm done, I have a lot of this. I probably have poppy seeds in my teeth, so don't look too closely. Let's see. Oh, I was going to chat real quick about something I said this morning, which would be at the beginning of the video, and that is talking about just how good I feel. Fun topic, right? No, what I wanted to put out there and make sure you guys know that I'm aware of, and also it's a good thing for all of us to be aware of, I think, is that just because I feel good on a certain diet or protocol or whatever does not mean that I necessarily will feel good on it forever. It's really easy, I think, to get some initial results from something, no matter what it is. It could be any, change in your lifestyle, and it's like you become devoted to it or something, where you're like, this is it. And you associate this diet or change with these feelings. And I know from experience that those things can change. Just because you have a positive experience at the beginning does not mean that there won't be drawbacks coming from it more long term. And it's just so easy to get sucked into that devotion, I guess, or you put your hope into something. Maybe that's a better way to talk about it. You get some result that you've been hoping for, and then you're like, that's the thing that's gonna save me, or that's the thing that's gonna get me to my goals. And I'm just trying really hard to keep that perspective, like that, watching all of this as a scientist, watching my experience and collecting data non-emotionally, and just making sure that I am being aware of any negatives that might pop up, and I'm not dismissing those, because I have done that before, when I have been devoted to a certain plan or felt like one plan was the right thing for me forever, and I started having different symptoms and things come up, and it was like I had blinders on to even acknowledge them. And I hope I've learned from that experience, and I'm trying really hard to keep perspective and just take things as they come and roll with the punches, enjoy the wins, but then also address the negatives. And that's where I'm at. So I'm getting a lot of positives right now, but I'm very aware that that could change, and I have my eyes open waiting for those changes, and we'll adjust course as things come up. So I just wanted to throw that in here. I'm getting going on some cherry prep. We are maybe going to a 4th of July gathering tonight, because the day I'm filming this is the 4th of July. So I am going to make a cherry cobbler. These cherries, these Lapin cherries are so big. It's hard to tell, I think, on the video, but here, there's a comparison between the Rainier and the Lapin cherries. They're almost like plums. They're just enormous. Anyways, and then they're also so incredibly red. They're just beautiful. So I have my cherries pitted in here, and I'm gonna get everything whipped up for cobbler. Taking a little break from the kitchen, and I have my sleepy boy over here. Hopefully I don't wake him up. So we are going to be going out this evening to some social events, and so right now I'm a little bit hungry. I think I'm going to go ahead and have another fruit snack. Not a fruit snack, but a snack of fruit. And then when we're out, I will allow myself to eat whatever I feel like. I don't know what options there are going to be. I know there's going to be the cherry cobbler that I made. I may have a serving of that. I am trying really hard to make this diet change that I'm doing very livable. I'm not going on anything super strict and extreme where I'm packing my own food to events or anything weird like that. If I lose weight slowly, if I don't lose weight, like, that is not the most important thing right now. So I am, it's a family outing, and I am just going to live my life the way I want my life to be, not on a diet. And so, it's just freedom. And I do feel like eating this way allows me to be able to do that without going off the rails or anything like that, like overeating or, getting triggered to just eat way too much or anything like that. I feel like this way of eating, my body feels very safe and secure. And when I eat something, that has more fat in it or combo of carbs and fat or anything like that, I'm able to moderate it really, really easily now when I didn't feel like I had that same kind of skill on a very strict keto or low carb diet. Definitely feeling the food freedom with this so far. All right, here's my fruit snack, a bowl of cherries and banana.
I kind of want.
Does it have a good sound system to play like a theme song as you drive?
Oh no, I wish we could play through our headsets there.
Oh, okay.
We got a kombucha and a yogurt.
It's green! It's green! I need fire to knock with it.
Yeah, it keeps changing. Good morning. It is the next day now, and we got some sleep last night. I probably went to bed at about midnight, and slept until 6. And so got a little bit of rest. You know, I don't stay out late very often, but for the fireworks show, it was worth it with the kids. We had a great time with our friends. So I showed you that I got a kombucha. I ended up only drinking a couple sips of it. It just wasn't what I wanted at the moment, so I didn't really drink that. And then I had that little yogurt. I was like, I didn't have any protein, like animal protein today, except for what was in the feta cheese. And so I was like, what can I grab really fast? And there weren't a lot of options where we were at. So I grabbed a yogurt, which had a little bit of protein. So I was pretty low on protein yesterday. And then when we were at our friend's house, I had one serving of the cherry cobbler with some whipped cream on top, not restricting. I had that serving. I was not tempted to eat anything else. They had so much food there, like tons of food. They had an entire table that was just turned into a charcuterie board. It was amazing. It was beautiful to see, but I was not very hungry at all. So the only thing I had there was the cherry cobbler. Now, by my calculations, I ate almost 3,000 calories yesterday when all was said and done. I woke up this morning, my weight had not changed at all. It was the same as yesterday, still at my lowest from my whole sugar dieting experience. That's one of the magical things about this plan is when you go off plan, yes, your weight can go up, but it's not the crazy swings like on keto and carnivore where you like gain 5 pounds of water weight overnight. It's just very manageable. And so anyways, I am feeling good, like no issues, no bloating, no gut stuff. I even ate late. I ate like at 9 p.m. It was just, I just felt normal. It was great. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thanks for hanging out with me on the 4th of July. I hope you guys are all doing well, and I'll see you in the next video.